I'm Lauren Theresa, and I thought today I would talk a little bit about why I became a minimalist and why I make these videos and why I would rather be frugal than work more. And so some of that has to do with my personal origin story. I think a lot of people are drawn to minimalism because of their past. And I was watching a video this morning that Ramit Sethi put on about aging parents and how to take care of them. And it was perfect for me. I'm almost 43. My parents are entering their mid to late 70s. And we've already had a few issues come up with mortgages, housing, the sale of my dad's business, and some medical concerns. And my mother's best friend is an estate attorney. So she and I have started this conversation, and then this video came up. It inspired me to action, to reach out to them and to her to start the conversation, and everyone has preliminarily agreed. So that means durable power of attorney and what to do in a healthcare crisis. And I would love to do that now while my parents are still happy and healthy. I'm glad to have YouTube and creators who, like me, want to help other people to create this peaceful existence here on this planet. And so shout out to Ramit Sethi for that. Big fan. And I really adopted some of his frugality and his way of investing and creating a life for myself a little bit more recently. He wasn't one of the first creators I came across. So I started following him because he creates a lot of room for joy and fun while you're building for your future, not just either or. So I like that he stays away from the black and white thinking. But for me, I'm gonna go through some of the negative stuff that maybe happened when I was younger that created this clarity around wanting to become a minimalist and wanting to become frugal and also authentically myself, which is an introvert. I was just talking to my 6-year-old about this morning. She said, I like to talk a lot and I'm very outgoing. And I said, yeah, when I was little, I was that way too. And then as I got older, I've just become more and more quiet. And I didn't go into the rest because I don't need to discuss abstract topics with a 6-year-old right now. But it's a nice start to a conversation that will probably continue for her lifetime with me. So first one, nervous system and sensory processing issues. So when I was younger, I was very sensitive. I still am very sensitive. My mother tried to give me the book about highly sensitive people. She said, I think we are this. And I knew without reading it, she was probably correct. My oldest was actually diagnosed with sensory processing disorder, and when they went through describing what it was and the symptoms, I thought, maybe I have that too. So I think from a young age, I was very dysregulated in the modern world, and I grew up in a household with lots of noise stimulation. So both of my parents love all of the major news channels. They tend to be more liberal, but there was always a news station playing on a TV. So there was a lot of what news is, which is some positive, but mostly negative, coming from talking heads the majority of my childhood. And then along with that, the radio would normally be playing NPR, and then computers came around, and then cell phones, and then it was all of it all the time. And in fact, I grew up learning to fall asleep to the television. The television was my nervous system regulator, and I would fall asleep watching TV, which is what my dad did, and my mom did, and my brother did. And I don't do that. I do have a tendency towards ASMR videos when I go to sleep, and I have gotten out of the habit of it. For the last couple of nights, I felt very anxious about trying to fall asleep. So I have watched ASMR videos on YouTube to fall asleep the last 2 nights. And I think because it's spring break, so we're outside of our normal routine. It's the little things, but there's a bird feeder in the back, and our Java finches, not mine, but the wild Java finches are always fighting over the food. So they help me emphasize points. Okay, so second thing that has led me to minimalism is my addiction recovery. I have been sober since March 27th of 2007, and for that I am extremely grateful. I always get a little choked up thinking about when I got sober. I was 24 years old. My parents did hire an interventionist. I was addicted to dry goods and alcohol, yeah, I went to a treatment center and I learned about 12-step recovery and have mostly been in it ever since. And I got a higher power, I got satisfaction and real life on life's term instructions in those fellowships. And I always say that 12-step is the parent that I never had, or maybe a step parent that I always needed, and has really been a place for me to learn how to live life. And anything from taxes to relationships to friendship to work has come up, and it's all related to my recovery. And I'm living in the bonus round, right? A lot of people who have the disease of addiction are no longer with us. So for me to be in long-term recovery, have a beautiful family and a beautiful home, and an opportunity to sit here with you and make these videos is beyond my wildest dreams. I didn't think making this video was going to lead to this place. I thought it was going to be just very straightforward and helpful. So I apologize for the tears. I'll try to edit most of this out. I'm very proud of my recovery, and I know my 2 little girls are too, even if they don't know it. They have never seen me in my addiction, thankfully, and I knock on wood, hopefully they never will. So I stay current in my recovery, and I do not represent 12-Step Fellowship. I am just one person in it. That's just part of my story. So number 3 on the perceived negative things that have helped propel me towards minimalism and frugality and living a slower, simpler life is the popularity contests from school, at work, and just in life in general. A lot of it fueled by the marketing machine that is very prevalent in the United States and in other countries too. Social media being one of them. I have recently eliminated short form content from my life. It's been 3 weeks now off of all short form content. And I've already finished 4 books and started making consistently creative projects like these videos. I have inconsistently made videos on YouTube for years, and now I really feel like it was keeping me from who I really wanted to be. And the stolen focus, thank you, Johan Hari. Getting short form content out of my life has given me a lot of focus and a lot of time and energy towards what I really want to be doing, which is creating instead of consuming. And I'm super grateful, but I grew up feeling like I was not enough. And so these are the big points. These 3 points: the nervous system, sensory processing issues, overstimulation as a child in some very chaotic household. I mostly talked about the media in my household, but I didn't talk about all the stuff that was there as well. It was overwhelming, to say the least. Addiction, recovery, and really needing that relief, probably from being overstimulated for so long, living in this modern world. I was just extremely sensitive to it, and so alcohol and drugs definitely created just like a buffer between the chaos that was in the world and my mind. And it translated, so it just created this bubble to live in outside of all of that, sort of a fantasy land, right? But the recovery was the other side of that, and the positive thing that came out of that, which propelled me into this world of beautiful, wonderful people who were recovering. And then I also noticed that the popularity that I was feeling, or the need to be a people pleaser or to be liked, or the attention from others, was really also huge in my life and has really been the main driver of any purchase that I have ever made, whether I want to admit it or not. If I look back on why did I buy this butter yellow shirt, even though yes, it's gorgeous, 20% of it is I really love it and I think it's beautiful. 80% is that somebody will like me better if I'm wearing this butter yellow shirt, and so I must purchase it in order to fit in with the tribe. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a part of a tribe. There's nothing wrong with buying things to be a part of a tribe. However, if that's the only reason they love you, or think you're cool or think you're beautiful, maybe it's not you. I hope I'm saying that clearly. The not enoughness I felt during the popularity wars in middle school, elementary school, middle school, and high school were very over the top. I was very sensitive and aware of the fact that I was uncool. I just rewatched the movie Never Been Kissed, and I was like, there's something here. I've seen it again with new eyes, and I just identified with the Drew Barrymore character because she wasn't willing to forego her kindness and her kindness towards others in order to be liked and to be cool in the end. So I just wanted to talk about some of these driving forces that seemed negative at the time, but ended up through all of that contrast, creating these sort of rockets of desire towards the life that I'm living now, which is semi-retired early. I don't technically have to get a job ever again or make an extra dime in order to be okay until the very end. And I will hopefully still have a little to give to my kiddos. It just creates so much peace in my home. The reason I regularly declutter is because when I find myself spending way too much time at home cleaning and organizing and dusting and mopping and laundry, and everything gets to be to where I can't even get out of my house, or I have to make a choice between a clean home and doing things that I love outside of the home, I have too much stuff. My stuff is then dictating my comfort level in my home because, like I said, I grew up in chaos, so I don't feel peaceful in my home. I don't feel settled unless it is clean. And if it is often not clean, then I am in a place where I'm listening to that part of my body that's saying, alert, alert, this is not an environment that I want to be in. And it's not necessarily the environment, it's that there's too many things. So then I do a sweep, I get brutal with my things, and I take a big old lot of it out to donate. And nobody wants your stuff, so just remember, you can try to sell things. I have done it. I have sold on eBay. I have sold things on Facebook Marketplace. I have sold things on Poshmark. I don't believe it's worth the time and energy for what you get back. That's just me personally. I do know people who make entire careers out of it. It is so awesome. I have tried, not for me. One cool thing about minimalism and frugality is that it increases, for this gal, my skills in any economy. So the positives that have come out of minimalism and frugality is that I'm not using shopping as a hobby any longer. So guess what? I actually found real hobbies, and I like crafting. I love reading books. I love volleyball. I go on long walks. I spend time in nature. I feed the birds. We have a huge garden, and I love all of it. And I know it's me. I know because I'm not being influenced constantly that this is me. Thing I put on here, which is curiosity and creation, is that I am now a creator and not just a consumer, and I'm creating more now than I am consuming, which is the person I really truly believe I've always wanted to be. I don't think babies are born and want to consume. I think they want to be safe, which security is not something to get rid of. I just want to be free to be me. I don't want to have to think about what other people are thinking about me first. I want to think about what I think about me first, and then take other people's opinions into consideration. There's an Abraham Hicks quote, and she says, if you don't run your life, somebody else will happily do it for you. And that is so true. Minimalism has also deepened my spirituality. I go to Abraham Hicks workshops. I love the idea of manifesting. I like the idea because it's really about not taking unaligned action. I'm not taking action because I'm in fear. If I take action, it's out of passion, desire, and love. And so minimalism, frugality, recovery have all brought me to this place. So really, the big positives that come out of living a minimalist, frugal life for me is peace in my home, I wake up without a lot of chaos other than these guys, which we love them. We don't have to break up any fights just yet. And then the skills for any economy. We are going to garden our way and darn our socks into whatever happens. And curiosity and creation. I'm taking an art class in April. It is a sewing class. My grandmother used to make giant, beautiful quilts, and I've always wanted to learn, so I'm starting with the basics. And then also the discovery of self without influence. So I get the time and the space now to be me, to wonder who I am, and to create that accordingly. So I really hope you got something from this video. Again, I'm sorry that I cried so much. I'm going to edit that out, I promise. And my name's Lauren Theresa. If you get something from these videos, feel free to like and subscribe. Maybe put a comment. How long have you been a minimalist? How long has this been part of your journey? What made you feel like minimalism was for you? I know it's not for everyone, but if you would comment and let me know where you're from too, that would be great. I'm from Texas, then I lived in Florida for 9 years, and now I live in Hawaii. Would love to hear from you and meet you, and thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Mahalo.